Hello, it is about 9 o'clock, and welcome to today's weather update. It is October 30th, 2019, and we're looking at another muggy night, 60 degrees. We got fog, mist, scattered drizzle out there. Let's take a look and see what the current conditions are at Farmingdale. 62 degrees, dew point is up to 60, visibility is up to 10 miles. So luckily we lost some of the drizzle. We had some drizzle earlier on, and then the drizzle kind of died off. We got a little bit of rain. We got a lot more of that heading our way. 62 at Farmingdale. Let's take a look and see what it is in New Jersey. 62 as well there at Mount Holly. Let's look at the radar because we have some. So here we go. Here is some rain that's starting to move in. But the concern, of course, as I said in the last one, is going to be some of these strong winds we're going to be dealing with. And already I see some wind advisories and high wind watches in effect for eastern and southeastern Massachusetts. Nothing for our area yet, but again, we're going to have to keep an eye on this for sure. So let's look at before I even get to this, we got to talk about, another tropical system. It's subtropical storm Rebecca. It is, we'll just look at this here. Let's see if we can get some information from it. So, subtropical storm Rebecca is could be a tropical, subtropical, whatever. We're seeing these weird storms forming in weird spots. So maximum sustained winds 45 miles an hour. Nothing terrible, but you know, it's just another sign of what we're dealing with here. Let me look at this on the MODIS satellite here. Hopefully we can get the latest image of this so we can get an idea of where it is. Where is this thing? I think this is it right here. So again, very unusual. I think that's it. Yeah, this would be Rebecca right here. This thing right here. So you could see it's got some tropical characteristics to it. You can see almost like a little eye there. A lot of impressive convection. Again, this is unusual to see, but this seems to be the new normal, seeing these storms form in the eastern Atlantic. So let's take a look at the models here. We're going to go ahead and look at tomorrow. We're going to be focusing on tomorrow's event because it's going to be rough, that's for sure. So for your Thursday, we have the rain that's going to be with us, but again, the most intense part is going to be this front. It looks like the worst of it does stay off to the west, but when this front moves through, it's going to bring a lot of rain. So if we look at the 24-hour accumulated precip for this front, you could see that we will be dealing with probably around an inch of rain or so. That's the 24-hour. Let me go to the total so you can see that, and you'll see we'll be getting a lot. The GFS says we'll be getting at least an inch of rain. It's going to be worse to our north and west, where they're going to see 2 and 3 inches of rain. Actually, the worst of the activity is going to be over here, probably because if we look at the temperatures, you will see. Let me move this over here to tomorrow. So if you look at temperatures, it's warmer off to the west. You see 70 in Philadelphia. Here will probably be a little cooler, probably in the mid-60s. But you have this really warm, juicy air that's going to be coming in tomorrow night. And again, temperatures will be rising into the 70s in New Jersey, and maybe even here. And then this moves through. And this is tomorrow night, Halloween night. And then for the morning, Friday, early morning wee hours is when this front comes through. And it dramatically gets cooler, as you see there. Dramatically gets cooler behind this front. But we have to deal with this front first. And then after that, we have much more normal weather for this time of the year with cooler temperatures. In fact, it stays cool pretty much right through next week into next weekend. We're at normal or a little below normal for a change. Maybe warming up a little bit on Friday with another front, and then next weekend it could really be cold. Look at this. The GFS has us only in the mid-30s for next Saturday. Look at this. This could be a really, really cold air mass that we'll be dealing with next weekend. Perhaps mid-30s. So, yeah, the cold air is going to be coming, and it looks like as we head into the middle of November, we see dramatic cool downs. We're going below freezing, and look at this. Wow. I am really happy to see this. Mid-30s. Oh, finally, we're getting some cold weather. It's about time. But before we get there, we got to get through this. Let's look at the NAM. We'll look at the NAM 12 kilometer. We'll look at the dew points because again, we're going to be dealing with some pretty humid air too as well. So, so here we go. Here comes the humidity. As you see, we're going to be feeling it tomorrow. Dew points in the mid-60s, and look at these strong winds here. These strong south winds are going to be a strong low-level jet event. But here is that sharp, very sharp cold front coming through in the wee hours of Friday morning. So we go from dew points up near 70 degrees, literally right behind the front, dew points dropping in the 40s. So this is going to be a very sharp frontal passage. Look at how sharp that is. When you have a sharp frontal passage like that, you have an opportunity to develop some strong and possibly even severe thunderstorms with that front. So you can see, look at that. That is very impressive. Really, you don't see things like that too often. You know, such a defined front like that. You don't see things like that too often. So let's go to the reflections on the radar. The NAM as to what the radar would look like tomorrow. So we have some showers in the morning. Then I think by the afternoon we get a break. Afternoon, early evening, the kids might even be able to trick or treat, but it's still going to be very windy out there. And then these storms come in, and this front approaches probably around midnight tomorrow, and there's going to be some really strong winds with this thing. All right, so there's the front. Let's go and look at the higher resolution NAM, so you can see what I'm talking about here. So you can see here comes that. It looks like just a defined squall line coming through New Jersey. This looks like a real solid squall line right here coming through with that front. It weakens a little bit when it gets to Long Island, but this squall line has the potential, like I said, it could be pretty stormy, and we'll have a really much better idea when I could look at the HRRR and some of the other models, but this looks pretty bad. But then that gets out of here, and then Friday we actually wind up having a fairly nice day after we're done with all that horrible stuff in the overnight. But the wind gusts are very important. So let's look at the winds and see what we're going to be dealing with these winds. So this is the NAM. You can see some reds offshore, but these are sustained winds. And sustained winds, it has us in the 20s with sustained winds here. And offshore, you're going to have sustained winds in the 40s. So that's going to cause some coastal flooding. And again, this is the highest resolution I can get as far as the winds goes, the 3-kilometer NAM. But you could see here that we're going to be looking at some pretty strong winds. Let's look at the total rainfall for the NAM. And let's see. So the NAM actually gives us a little less rain. Has the worst of the storms to the west, and then for our area we get a little less rain. We get maybe 1/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch to an inch of rain. So maybe a little less worry about the rain for us, more worry about the wind, which is going to be a major concern with this system. I want to look at another model called the HDRPS, which is not a model I use all that often, but I want to see what this does with this front as well. So here we go. So look at this front as it comes through. Pennsylvania is probably going to be severe weather there. Unfortunately, it does look like the severe weather threat may not happen over our area, and that's just because the ocean's a little cooler right offshore, and that might moderate things enough. Probably not for New Jersey, but for Long Island, I think we would see less in the way of severe weather. But for New Jersey, the risk is definitely there for New Jersey to see some severe weather with this front coming through. Because, again, it'll be warm, it'll be humid. It's going to be really just a juiced-up kind of atmosphere. So let's go to windy.com and look at the Euro. Because, again, the Euro is one of the better models when it comes to predicting these storms. And I want to take a look at this and show you what we're going to be dealing with here. So let's go ahead, and we're going to look at the winds. So we're going to be looking at the winds tomorrow. Let's try noon first, all right? So the winds are starting to pick up, but nothing too terrible. The winds are already picking up on the south shore. We get to 5 p.m., things get a little stormier, and we're seeing the winds now on the south shore. Let's see what we got here. 27 miles an hour, these sustained winds, whereas in the middle of the island, sustained winds at 22 miles an hour. So this is pretty bad. We get to 11 p.m., and then things get a lot worse. So as we get to the evening, around midnight, this is when it's going to be really bad. You have sustained winds at 28 miles an hour, sustained winds at 28 miles an hour. These are sustained winds from the south. Now, if you go by the water and on the east end, your sustained winds are at 34 miles an hour. And if you are at the beaches, this is where it gets a little scarier. Sustained winds at 35, 38, probably 40. These are sustained winds that are going to pile the water up on the south shore. It could be a good amount of coastal flooding tomorrow from these south winds that are going to be coming in. All right, we go to 3 a.m. And finally, the front comes through and the winds shift to the west. And we see that coastal flooding threat go away, but now we're going to have strong westerly winds. But the conditions do improve as we get to noon. You will see winds are not so bad anymore. So now let's go back to tomorrow around noon, and we look at the wind gusts. And this is where things get a little scary. All right, so wind gusts here, 42 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour. These are gusts. So again, these could cause power outages, tree limbs coming down, and then as we get to 5 p.m., the wind gusts get even worse. So we're talking 43 miles an hour. Let's go to 7 p.m. Now we're up to gusts of 47, 47, but this is not the worst of it. The worst of it is with that front, right ahead of that front that moves through. So 11 p.m., this is where we deal with these really strong wind gusts in the 50s. And again, offshore, you're going to have even stronger wind gusts. And see what we got off to the west, 42. So this is where it's really bad, 53. These are going to be some pretty strong wind gusts. Like I said, I think there are going to be some power outages. And then look what happens when the front moves through. Right at the frontal passage, we can have wind gusts up to hurricane force. This is what the Euro is saying. It's isolated, probably won't be widespread, but look at that. Close to hurricane force wind gusts. So this is going to be a significant wind event for Long Island. And like I said, this front is going to be accompanied by extremely strong winds when it moves through. And then by 5 a.m., winds start backing off a little more, and we get into more manageable wind speeds by 8 a.m., and then by the afternoon, it's much better. These are wind gusts, again, we're looking at. But those gusts tomorrow night could be pretty bad. All right? I really like using this Euro model because I think it's one of the best models to use when it comes to storms. So we're going to also look at the temperatures and show you the temperature gradient that's going to exist across the area tomorrow. So you can see we have temperatures up near 70 in New Jersey, and they rise. So we go to 7 p.m., the temperatures probably go up a little more. All right, it's 68. 11 p.m. gets even warmer, so it looks like close to 70. And then when that front comes through, you can see, look at the difference. This is where the front is parked, right over Long Island. So the east end could be up near 70 degrees, and then in New York City or Nassau County, you could be dropping into the 50s. And if we look at the dew points, you'll see this difference again, where dew points are dropping relatively quickly. And then on the right side of this front, look at that. It has some 70 degree dew points. So this is the kind of situation that can cause some really, when you have a difference in air masses like this, it can cause some really severe weather. So let's look at the rain and the rain threat now, right? So this is 1 a.m. All right. So according to this, it has most of the rain behind the front. The timing might be a little off on this. I'm not sure exactly, but this is the rain here. This is the line that comes through. All right, and then it moves through. And then we'll go to clouds because I'll show you Friday clears out by 7 a.m. 10 a.m. Look at that. We have clear skies across our area, so it will clear out and it'll be nice and sunny. And we're gonna have some nice sunny weather for Friday, later Friday morning into the afternoon, and also Saturday. So I'm going to also go to Ventus Sky. We're going to look at Ventus Sky, which is another model that I want to use for this as well, because this can actually show Cape. So we're going to go to the thunderstorm threat for tomorrow. So let's move this to tomorrow. So it's going to actually be a very scary night for Halloween. Mother Nature is going to scare us tomorrow night. All right, so it doesn't look like too much of a thunderstorm risk. Let's go into Friday here. Friday morning. Let's see what we got here. All right, it doesn't seem to be all that impressive here with the thunderstorm risk. But honestly, with such a difference in the atmosphere, it would not surprise me. And there are other things to use like lifted index, which is going to be a little more up there. So again, I back it. Oh, let's go to Thursday. All right, Thursday. Let's see. Yeah, see this lifted index here. So again, you're going to see that chance of thunderstorms. And again, even if there's no thunderstorm, there's no thunder and lightning, these showers can enhance the wind and bring down some of those stronger winds. Especially when you look at wind shear, there's going to be a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere, and this lends itself to the possibility of seeing some tornadoes. Probably more west of the city, but I wouldn't be surprised if in Pennsylvania or New Jersey we see a tornado, perhaps, with this, because there's just so much wind shear in the atmosphere, so much, you see that. And when you have wind shear like that, that can create spin in the atmosphere and create rotating thunderstorms. This is, again, something we have to worry about. So, yeah, we have a lot to worry about for tomorrow night, and a lot to do, a lot to process for tomorrow night. But let's go back to GFS, because once we get through it, I'll show you we're going to have nice, clear weather. So once we get through this storm, you see we have the sun's back out by late morning. And look at that. Saturday, we have another nice day. Sunday, perhaps another nice day. And then Monday, maybe another nice day even on Monday, perhaps. And then Tuesday, maybe we see a little more clouds. Thursday could be another nice day. Friday, that front comes through, and then we get into that really bitter cold air that's going to be coming in for us. But there may be a good deal of cloudiness with that cold air. We'll have to see what happens with that. But that's going to be some pretty cold air that's going to come in. I wouldn't be surprised if there's lake effect snows upstate with that batch. Probably will be the first lake effect snows of the season. So with that wraps up the weather update. Again, I'll keep you posted. I'll have another weather update tomorrow afternoon about this storm that is about to impact our area. We do have a wind advisory in effect, so here we go. Wind advisory in effect from 8 p.m. Thursday to 6 a.m. Friday. South-southwest winds 20 to 30 miles an hour with gusts to 50, and strong winds may blow down trees, limbs, power lines. Scattered power outages are possible. So I'll keep you posted on this scary storm that we're going to be dealing with for Halloween. Like I said, Mother Nature is going to scare us tomorrow night. So with that wraps up this weather update. Take care, and thank you for watching.